There are parts of my identity and pieces of my timeline that I am mathematically never going to get back. Man, people look at the environment out here, and they ask about the cost of street substances. But let me tell you the absolute truth. It is significantly cheaper to lose your mind out here on the pavement than it is to buy a basic room in this state. I am out here desperately struggling with my relationship with my father, and we are both trying to find a business that will accept a job application. But the system locks you out, and the violence is absolute. I've been brutally stabbed right on the sidewalk before. Someone was completely tripping on synthetic K2, lost their connection to reality, and tried to slice my neck open. I instinctively put my forearm up to protect my throat, so they hacked my arm instead. The physical and mental trauma out here is so deep that it completely reshapes your biology. Welcome to Homeless U.S. News. In California, the mass displacement of human beings does not hide in the dark corners of the countryside. It occupies the absolute center of the public landscape. Across the geography of the Golden State, thousands of our citizens are living completely unsheltered on concrete sidewalks, huddled beneath sprawling freeway overpasses, and trapped inside high-density tent communities stretching across entire commercial blocks. But what makes California uniquely shocking is not just the massive scale of the suffering. It is the absolute structural contrast. Gleaming luxury high-rises stretch into the clouds, directly overlooking encampments where human beings are sleeping on discarded pieces of wet cardboard. Multi-million-dollar residential neighborhoods exist only minutes away from acute addiction, starvation, and a bone-deep physical exhaustion. In this territory, the sidewalks no longer look like temporary crisis zones. They look like entire human lives left outside to rot. And perhaps that is the most disturbing layer of all, how thoroughly normal it has started to look to the public commute. Today, we are stripping away the polite, progressive facade of the wealthiest state in America. California is no longer just facing a common housing shortage. It is becoming a terrifying national warning about what happens to human stability when too many people are left behind for too long. If you believe that every single human life carries inherent dignity and that journalism should never look away from the vulnerable, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. Let's walk these blocks together. Drop a comment below right now. How can the richest state in the nation leave thousands of its own families to fracture on the concrete? Let's uncover the truth. Part 1. The Metropolitan Ledger, California by the Numbers. To truly grasp the gravity of what is unfolding across the West Coast, you have to look past the beautiful tourist brochures and analyze the structural reality of the point-in-time metrics. The latest official comprehensive census reveals that exactly 181,399 human beings are experiencing absolute homelessness across California on any given night. The concentration of this human displacement is heaviest within the state's primary economic engines. Los Angeles County records a staggering 67,777 individuals. San Diego County monitors 9,951 souls. And San Francisco documents at least 7,973 people trapped on the pavement. But the specific statistic that reveals the true physical danger of this emergency is the unsheltered rate. An incredible, unprecedented 66% of the entire unhoused population in California is living fully unsheltered. This means that more than 2/3 of these individuals possess zero structural protection from the environment. They are forced to survive directly on the asphalt, inside nylon shelters, or under concrete bypasses. This is the raw reality behind the illusion of the California dream. In a state celebrated for billion-dollar technology campuses and high-end coastal real estate, thousands are forced to begin each morning without a deadbolt to turn, a functional kitchen, or a private space to breathe. From the historic blocks of Skid Row to the intense corridors of the Tenderloin, from freeway medians to dry desert washes, primal survival has been transformed into a permanent feature of the public landscape. The numbers are sobering, but the visual reality is impossible to ignore. Entire commercial blocks look like emergency shelter wards without walls or sanitation. Parking lots are transformed into desperate vehicle camps, and public walkways turn into open-air storage zones where people guard the last remaining fragments of their physical lives inside plastic bags. It is a mass economic eviction happening in broad daylight, forcing us to ask what it says about the soul of society when baseline human shelter becomes an unattainable luxury in one of the wealthiest territories on Earth. Part 2. The Housing Wall, the Economics of Exclusion. The leading structural cause of mass homelessness in California is the brutal, unbridgeable chasm between what the working class earns and what corporate real estate commands to keep a roof over a family's head. The data from the front lines reveals a terrifying economic reality. The vast majority of individuals who lost their housing security were surviving on a median monthly income of just $960 prior to their displacement. Compare that stagnant resource to the reality that market rents in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Jose remain among the highest and most restrictive on the planet. According to comprehensive analyses from the California Policy Lab, the primary catalyst driving citizens onto the pavement are sudden job loss, massive rent increases, and legal evictions implemented by corporate landlords. For many Californians, absolute homelessness begins after years of barely holding on at the edge of the cliff. A service worker sees their rent jump by hundreds of dollars overnight due to luxury redevelopment. A working family faces a single unexpected emergency room invoice that completely wipes out their micro savings. Or a retail laborer loses their employment and discovers that even the lowest-end studio apartment is now mathematically out of reach. The systemic housing shortage across the state makes this crisis completely inescapable. Genuinely affordable units have been systematically regulated out of existence, and state prevention programs routinely arrive far too late to preserve a family's security. Couch surfing with friends or crowding into a relative's room can only serve as a short-term buffer against poverty. Eventually, the strain breaks the relationship, and a single bad month transforms into chronic street instability. These are not narratives of personal failure or a lack of character. They're the direct mathematical outcome of an exclusive housing market that has outpaced working-class wages for a generation, leaving responsible citizens completely vulnerable to destitution. Part 3. The Biology of Exposure. Decay on the concrete. Daily life without housing in California is an exhausting, non-stop war for baseline human dignity and physical survival. Data from the latest Los Angeles homeless counts confirms that nearly 70% of the unhoused population exists in an unsheltered state, forced to live fully exposed to the elements on concrete sidewalks, inside vehicles, or under industrial overpasses. In San Francisco, the metrics are a glaring indictment of public neglect. Only 22% of unhoused citizens report consistent, daily access to functioning public restrooms, and just 44% possess the ability to regularly wash their skin or maintain basic biological hygiene. Under these conditions, the human body begins to break down with terrifying speed. Every single morning begins with profound, bone-deep physical fatigue before the logistical challenges of the day even start. There is no private bathroom to wash your face, no clean closet to change your clothes, and no sanctuary to rest your spine. Many individuals are forced to wear the same clothes for weeks at a time, their skin becoming raw, cracked, and deeply ulcerated from the dust, sweat, and exposure to coastal wind and rain. Minor physical injuries that would be easily managed in a normal household turn into life-threatening medical emergencies on the pavement. Infections spread rapidly through the encampments, and chronic pain grows significantly worse because there is no stable, climate-controlled room to recover. The human nervous system is kept in a permanent state of emergency hypervigilance, unable to fall into deep sleep, because you must constantly listen for predators in the dark while guarding your boots and papers. But the deepest damage inflicted by this existence is psychological. It is a suffocating shame of feeling unclean in public, the isolation of being treated like a hazard by thousands of passers-by, and the slow, systematic destruction of self-respect. Part 4. The fractured social fabric. Normalizing the unendurable. Mass homelessness across California has moved far past the boundaries of an isolated personal hardship. It has transformed into a profound public health emergency and a permanent wave of social friction that ripples through every layer of our shared civic neighborhoods. With over 72,000 people experiencing absolute displacement across Los Angeles County and thousands more navigating the public spaces of San Diego and San Francisco, the structural failure of the social safety net has fundamentally altered the rhythm of daily metropolitan life. When thousands of human beings are forced to execute their daily survival mechanics outdoors, public infrastructures designed for community recreation are systematically transformed into emergency wards without walls, privacy, or safety. Public parks, transit terminals, sidewalk corridors, and commercial business districts find themselves carrying the immense weight of human destitution. The medical consequences of this concentration strain the entire community. Conditions that could easily be prevented or treated early by a family doctor turn into acute emergencies that overload local emergency rooms and mobile outreach teams, costing millions in reactive public spending. But the most dangerous damage inflicted by this crisis is harder to measure on a spreadsheet. It is a subtle, gradual change in the emotional atmosphere of our cities. The sheer density of visible suffering on our daily commute normalizes the unendurable. It trains the public mind to look directly at absolute misery and walk past without breaking stride. It teaches children that human destitution is a natural feature of the urban terrain and creates a dangerous emotional distance between citizens who share the same streets. When basic survival is treated as part of the landscape, the social contract completely dissolves, serving as a warning sign about the kind of society we are actively becoming. Part 5. The Forgotten Pilots, Seniors, Women, and the Displaced. The demographic shift among the unsheltered population across California reveals a profound moral emergency. The systematic abandonment of our oldest citizens and the structural vulnerability of single women and children. According to official data from the San Diego point-in-time counts, senior citizens over the age of 55 now account for an alarming 33% of the entire unsheltered population, a sharp, sudden spike driven by elders facing homelessness for the absolute first time in their lives after decades of hard labor. Statewide data indicates that nearly 48% of unhoused single adults are aged 50 and older. These are grandfathers and grandmothers who spent their lives working in our industries, now forced to sleep on hard concrete or inside cramped, unpowered vehicles because their fixed pensions cannot cover the market cost of a security deposit. Their bodies ache from decades of manual labor, yet they are forced into a state of constant physical movement, carrying their possessions across the city just to locate a patch of dirt where they won't be arrested by local law enforcement. At the exact same time, single women and families make up a rapidly growing percentage of our sidewalk communities. Hundreds of mothers wake up every single morning carrying an overwhelming emotional burden, forced to defend themselves and their young children from predators with absolutely no walls, no locks, and no private sanctuary to retreat to. They live in a state of permanent hypervigilance, attempting to keep their children clean and enrolled in school while exposed to the eyes of strangers. Black, Latino, LGBTQ+, and disabled individuals experience these systemic hardships even more intensely, facing longer periods of displacement and extra institutional barriers to assistance. Watching a grandmother fold her thin blanket on a curb or a single mother hold back tears on a sidewalk is a living monument to a society that has abandoned its most sacred duty to protect its vulnerable pillars. Part 6. The Revolving Door, the inescapable loop of instability. One of the most frustrating and heartbreaking realities of the California housing crisis is the immense velocity of the revolving door that pulls people right back onto the pavement after they attempt to escape. Comprehensive research in the California Policy Lab reveals a discouraging metric. Approximately 23% of unhoused individuals who manage to secure a placement inside temporary, subsidized emergency housing find themselves returned to absolute homelessness within just 6 short months. While permanent supportive housing models achieve a more stable retention rate, certain demographics, specifically Black single adults and disabled veterans, face a risk of return that is nearly double the national average. Hundreds of our neighbors find themselves trapped inside this repeating loop of instability. They spend months navigating the complex social service bureaucracy, fill out endless digital forms, and finally secure a temporary roof over their heads, only to watch that stability evaporate a few months later when their short-term subsidies expire, their rents face a sudden corporate increase, or their untreated health challenges return. The psychological toll of this endless cycling is devastating. It is the crushing disappointment of having to pack your meager belongings into garbage bags once again, the deep physical fatigue of returning to the asphalt after tasting safety, and the slow erosion of self-worth that comes from feeling like a failure through no fault of your own. Many survivors describe the absolute heartbreak of finally sleeping behind a locked door, only to find themselves back on a concrete median weeks later, carrying the exact same heavy bags through the rain. Without a continuous supply of permanent housing paired with long-term mental health counseling and living wage employment pipelines, the path forward remains permanently broken, recycling human trauma and stealing years of life from citizens who simply want a solid floor to stand on. Part 7. The Architecture of Permanence, Solution Strategies at Scale. Despite the immense scale of the landscape we have documented, a powerful strategic blueprint is demonstrating that this crisis can be permanently cured when a community matches its financial resources with practical, human-centered engineering. Across California, forward-thinking initiatives are shifting completely away from a failure of short-term emergency containment and investing heavily in permanent, integrated supportive housing infrastructure. During recent fiscal cycles, regional programs allocated significant funds directly toward long-term interventions, including thousands of permanent rental subsidies and specialized interim housing units engineered to stabilize individuals immediately. The data proves that proactive prevention is our most effective weapon. Working families who receive timely financial rent assistance were 71% less likely to fall onto the pavement, a statistic that climbs to an incredible 78% within communities that provide direct legal defense against predatory evictions. Furthermore, state initiatives like the Home Key Framework have successfully converted vacant motels, abandoned commercial offices, and underused structures into hundreds of beautiful, dignified permanent housing units across multiple counties. Permanent supportive housing does not just provide a roof. It integrates healthcare clinics, mental health therapy, substance counseling, and job training workshops directly under one roof. When you hand an unhoused citizen a key to an apartment with a deadbolt, their nervous system finally leaves survival mode. Their cortisol levels drop, their mind clears, and they can finally begin the long, difficult work of rehabilitation without the constant fear of violence or displacement. When a society treats shelter as a fundamental public utility rather than a speculative investment, we create a stable foundation where human dignity can permanently thrive. Outro. The voices and lone shadows. As the evening sun drops below the wide horizon, casting long, dramatic shadows across the coastal high-rises and the sprawling sidewalk encampments of California, our long journey through this crisis comes to a close. The neon signs of the corporate tech districts flicker on, while down on the concrete sidewalks and inside the hidden camps, thousands of our neighbors are preparing to face another long night exposed to the elements, with no door to close and no sanctuary to rest their minds. The thousands of human hearts sleeping outside in California tonight are a living mirror held up to our entire society, asking us what level of human misery we are willing to tolerate in a nation of immense abundance. They remind us that our shared stability is far more fragile than we care to admit, and that any life can be completely altered if the safety net snaps at the wrong time. They aren't asking for passive pity or empty political promises. They are dreaming of the simplest, most fundamental human dights: a quiet bed lifted off the hard ground, a front door with a key that turns, and the peace of knowing they belong somewhere safe. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for staying with us until the very final second of this extensive, continuous documentary on homeless U.S. news. In a digital world designed around rapid distraction, your decision to sit with this heavy, unfiltered truth from the first sentence to the last word carries real human weight. You are no longer just a passive viewer. You are a witness to the reality of your neighbors. If this journey through the paradox of California has touched your heart, challenged your assumptions, or made you look at the streets of your own city with a little more kindness, please take a brief moment right now to smash that like button. It takes less than a second, but it tells the algorithm that deep, human-centered journalism matters, helping this message reach thousands of more minds who need to awaken to this truth. If you want to continue walking alongside us through the hidden corners of America and giving a powerful voice to those who have been silenced in the shadows, hit subscribe to Homeless U.S. News and turn on that notification bell. We are building a global community that refuses to look away from human suffering. We want to hear your voice. What part of this documentary hit you the hardest? Have you noticed this housing crisis shifting in your own hometown? Let's start an honest, deeply respectful conversation in the comments section below. We read every single thought you share. Let's keep our empathy alive, reject indifference, and remember that we are all much closer to each other than the world wants us to believe. Stay warm, stay safe, and we will see you in the next story on Homeless U.S. News.